Hi, I'm Donna Reish, aka Language Lady, and I'm here to tell you about one of my products called the Spelling Notebook. This product can be purchased through Character Inc. It correlates with, page number by page number, our complete language arts program for Christian homeschools called Character Quality Language Arts. It can also be purchased to use in the classroom as well as in one-on-one tutoring situations from CurClick, Teachers Pay Teachers, and Teacher's Notebook. If you found this, you might be at the Language Lady blog, which is where I describe all of the products that we carry and have links to all of our stores there as well. So I want to take some time right now to tell you about the Spelling Notebook and also to explain to you how to use this in various ages and grades. First of all, I will say that I ran out of yellow ink and my videographer was here, so we're doing it even though we have a blue cover, and what you'll probably see at the stores would be a green cover. Thankfully it didn't run out till the end, but let that be a lesson to you that if you want to print it in color, it has yellow headers, and so you'll want a lot of yellow ink, or you might want to grayscale it because it does get expensive to print like that. It is a 100-page document. And it basically is a categorizing system for students to record and practice their spelling words. I designed this 18 years ago for homeschoolers at the time, and now we're offering it to a wider audience and hoping that even some classroom teachers can find a good use for this because it is an excellent program for spelling practice. So let me just explain a little bit about what it contains. This is not bound, obviously. If you buy it from us, you will get a black and white version unbound. If you buy it from Character Inc. That would be bound, I mean. But the downloads are up to you to bind, or 3-hole punch and put them into binders. That's what we do with a lot of our materials too. So first of all, I want to just talk to you start with the actual product itself. The first pages tell how to use the program, and then it has a lengthy table of contents. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I probably wouldn't buy that and download that, but I'm interested in the methodology, stay with me for a little bit because I think I can give you some insights that might help you. First of all, this table of contents is available at Character Inc. under the Spelling Notebook, and it has the actual table of contents of this book. So it is feasible or possible for you to create this yourself, though it is a lot handier to have the headers as well as the notes at the bottom. But you could make one yourself just from the table of contents. So the table of contents shows you all of the 96 rules that are contained in the Spelling Notebook and gives you the page number that each one falls on, and it basically has a short description in the table of contents, such as short A family, A equals a in a consonant vowel consonant situation or a vowel consonant situation. You don't have to worry about all that because there are samples at the top of each page, so you don't have to say, oh man, I can't remember what the consonant vowel consonant pattern is, I can't remember what the vowel consonant pattern is. We'll get into that in just a moment because it is labeled properly at the top of each page with samples. That's really important for students to have those samples. So anyway, it starts out with the table of contents, and then it goes page by page, just like this. This page shows the short A families, again just from the table of contents, that's what that's indicated as well. CVC and VC patterns. So this means, again, consonant vowel consonant and also just vowel consonant patterns, like in the case of at. And this has a listing of various word families that have this pattern. So page 5 is a short A family page, and here are some common patterns: the ACK family, the AD family, the AN family, the AND family, and the AT family, and then there's an others column as well. At the bottom of each page there's a teacher's tip. This one says the consonant vowel consonant pattern means consonant vowel consonant. VC means vowel consonant pattern. One syllable words with a single vowel in the middle with the consonant or consonants on both sides usually say the vowel short sound. So this is just a teacher tip to remind you of your phonics rule in case you're rusty on those, or in case you're using a spelling program that maybe describes it a little differently. That way you'll know what our terminology means here. So that is what the pages look like. The order of the progression of the book is actually in a way similar to teaching a child to read. In other words, if I have a private student and I'm teaching that student to read, this is probably the order that I would go in for that student. Short A families, short E families, and so forth. And then you go on back to consonant blends. Lots of pages of those. Consonant L blends, consonant S blends, so on and so forth at the beginning. And then of course it has the long vowel patterns. I'll just pull one of those up to show you. The long O silent E, this is a VCE pattern, vowel consonant E, magic E or silent E pattern. With the OD family, the old family, the OM family, the OWN family, the OAT family, and then others. Again with the teacher tip at the bottom. And then it goes all the way up through very difficult patterns. Some patterns such as EY and Y at the end of words, saying the long E sound, so, normal ones like that, but then it gets into a lot more difficult ones that even 4th and 5th graders might encounter, PLE, TLE, and so forth. The spelling notebook is designed for 2nd through 8th grade. If you have an 8th grade speller who is very phonetic and still really needs help syllabicating and sounding out words, categorizing them is a great way to do this, because what it does is your student has this whole bank of spelling patterns in his head. And so what you're doing is you're taking those patterns and you're classifying them. So he's going to come here and he's going to put all of his AR says R and all of his EAR says R on one page. And so these are the ones that are spelled with AR that say R. These are the ones that are spelled with EAR that say R. And so we're categorizing, we're classifying, we're putting more learning hooks onto those previous hooks. So you're just building and building, building on. Of course, one of the greatest methods for teaching is to build on what the student already knows and not to start out fresh. So, with this, that's what we're doing for sure. Then it goes all the way at the end with the more complicated patterns, such as dropping a Y, changing it to I, adding ES, words that keep their original spellings for plurals. It has the different plural spellings. Also like changing F to V, adding EY. When you don't add you just add an S to EY, but you change the Y to an I when there's not an EY. All of those patterns are also covered. So let me just talk for a few moments about how a 2nd through 8th grade student might use this in your spelling class or your language arts class. First of all, I hope that you are using a spelling program that is based on phonetics or on word families as opposed to vocabulary. When students are in high school, they already have the spelling patterns down, they already have the phonetic patterns down, so it's fine to do it vocabulary based. And actually it's time to start shifting to a little bit more vocabulary based spelling, because now it's time for them to learn so many words that are not common, like they don't have the commonalities. So they're learning, for example, all the hydra words that mean water. This is important for comprehension. This is important for life. And that's something that we do, a little in junior high, but heavily in high school. But previous to that, we want to be sure that our students are spelling words based on phonics commonalities. So, for example, we want to use a program that has all the short vowel families one week, all of the maybe long O with the magic E at the end another week, that they have spelling commonalities in them. Most good spelling programs will do this, as opposed to a spelling program for, say, grade 3, where all the words are associated with a beach. Generally speaking, students in 3rd grade already know that a bucket is associated with a beach, that a sun umbrella is associated with a beach. And so we're not really building that much new information to them. But what they really need is to have the spelling commonalities so that they can hook them onto the hooks that they've already created for themselves in previous learning. So hopefully you're using a phonetic-based spelling program. If you're not using a phonetic-based spelling program, you can still use the spelling notebook, but you're going to be sifting through the pages. You're going to put the bucket under the short U, or maybe under the UCK pattern. You're going to put the umbrella under the multi-syllable umbrella page. And you're going to be going around page by page and not really working on a specific sound. So it is doable, but it's preferable to use a phonetic-based program. Now, one step above that, of course, is that I hope that you're also using a program with word families. So in other words, you have the ACK family, the AD family, the AND family. You have the IDE family, the IM family, the EIN family, the IRE family, the IT family. This is going to be important again for those learning hooks. So if you have long vowel words that week, suppose you have long I words and long O words, you would come to the long I page and the long O page, and then the student would classify his words. Now, when I first started using this with my students and they were in 2nd grade, one of the things I really enjoyed about this, being a nostalgic mom who has 7 kids, 17 through 32 now, is we use the same spelling notebook year after year after year. And so in 2nd grade, they would write their IDE words or whatever, and they'd have large, really sloppy print. Well, come to think of it. Anyway, some of my kids didn't quite get too far beyond that. We have some not so great penmanship in our family, but anyway. And then in junior high, he's coming to the same page. Maybe he's putting it on the compound page, or maybe he's putting it on here, Yuletide. And then it's a different font. It's almost like watching your child or your students develop over a period of time. So if you are in a homeschool situation or a situation where you can take your spelling notebook from year to year, you can use the same one repeatedly. You don't need to get a new spelling notebook each year. All right, so that is one way that you can use it with spelling. Take the spelling list for the week, record them under the commonalities, and study those based on their spelling commonalities. So if they're doing the sounds of GH, they would do all the IGHT words, study those together, all of the IGH words, all of the times that GH says F, and those are all in here, and he would study all of those based on their commonalities. So these 6 words would be on this page, these 3 would be on this one, these 4 would be on this one, and it's a good classification system for his mind. And so that's one way you can use it. Another way besides spelling is that you can use it with a phonetically based reading program. So if your child is learning to read and note I said she because most of the time this would be a girl, she also enjoys writing. She can learn the family and then come and write words under each category of the family that she just learned to read. For students who are ready to write at young ages, or ready to write, that is pen, at the same time in their life as they're ready to learn to read, this works really well because you're bringing together another learning style. So you've got auditory and visual, and then you've got kinesthetic. So that's really good for that student. However, if you have a student, namely a little boy who's learning to read and doing fine with learning to read, but not ready to write out all of those words, then do not use the spelling notebook for reading practice. Because that would really frustrate him. But for a child who does like to write and is able to write well, that's another way to practice their word families when they're learning to read. So that sums up the spelling notebook for you, and I hope that you will take a look at it. We have the first 7 or 8 pages of preview at CurrClick, as well as Teachers Pay Teachers, as well as Teachers Notebooks. So you can print it off and play with it a little bit and see how you like it, and then you can get it for your homeschool or for your classroom. So thank you very much for joining me for the spelling notebook.